पहले पहले हम लोग एक बैकग्राउंड की बात करते हैं, लाइक हाउ द वर्ल्ड हैव चेंज्ड, और काफी सारी चीजें हमारे मतलब कि रिलीजियस जो मोमेंट्स हुए उसके अंदर कैसे आई. सो द सोशियो कल्चरल इकोनॉमिक डायनेमिक इन द बैकग्राउंड ऑफ इम्पोर्टेंट कल्चरल चेंजेस. So it is there is a time frame when a number of things have taken place in Indian society or Indian culture. वो ऐसा एक समय था जब भी काफी सारे नवाचार हमारे रिलीजियस कॉन्सेप्ट्स के अंदर आ रहे थे. सो इट वाज द फर्स्ट मिलेनियम BCE. That period is marked by the intense socio-cultural and economic conditions, which significantly influence the perspective of the communities along the Ganga Plain in modern day North India. So why I'm talking about Ganga Plains is because the birthplace of Bhagwan Adinath or Bhagwan Rishabhnath is marked as the what you can say Ganga Plain, the modern day Ayodhya. And he was from the same dynasty from where Lord Ram has came, and that is the Ikshwakus. So this period was very important, and there was a number of things which is happening, and there's like a number of socio-cultural movements of Buddhism and Jainism. Yeah, it is a part that Jainism is much more earlier than Buddhism, but in a when we talk about cultural changes and movements, then we actually correlate because both of these religions or what you can say way of lives are opposing pre-existing or what you can say something which was there. So there's a number of actually talks regarding the pre-existing concept of life or the modern concept of life, or there's a number of talk. We are not getting into that. So there have been like a very important ideological background. So when we talk about the rise of Jainism, so Jainism is like when we talk the archaeology, there's a number of scholars, a number of research papers which deals like the Jainism is there in the Indus Valley civilization, the Jainism is there in the Iron Age, and so on and so forth. And they have given a number of what you can say references which actually gives the glimpse that there is a possibility that the Jainism was there during Indus Valley civilization. Either we read the papers of what you can say Dr. Manuel Joseph, or with the excavation which was done by Watts in 1920s 15 about the like Indus Valley civilization, where torso has been found, which he actually called that this is the image of a Tirthankara. So there's a number of things which have been taken place, and sadly we haven't been yet what you can say deciphered, or the Indus Valley civilization script is not yet been deciphered. So a number of things is purely based on the assumptions, but for now, on the basis of various what you can say evidences and a number of findings, we believe that the Jainism was there, or a bit of what you can say reference of, or what you can say pre-Jainism was there in Indus Valley civilization, and later on we start finding more information regarding the same, and it was around 6th century BCE when we start finding very clear evidences of Jainism in the Indian society. Now, like it was basically like the other contemporary renunciatory traditions which was there, they have opposed that, and the cult of sacrifice and everything, there's a lot of things which were going on, and the concept of what you can say ahimsa and jeev, that this is something which actually made the most impact in the society, and it is one of the reason why Jainism has reached at one of its peak during that time. And there's like the concept of 24 jinas, and in which the like the Rishabnath is the oldest one, and he is also known as the Adinath, which makes him the very first Tirthankara. And the concept of Adinath is also something which is showing that the start of the Tirthankara tradition, and he accepted as the same. He was the very first person who actually promoted and who actually started the whole concept of Jainism, and later on all the 24 Tirthankaras which came, they have contributed in the what you can say way of life and in the religion of Jain religion. So that is a very important concept. Like when we see the 24 Tirthankaras, the most famous and historically proven entity is the Vardhaman Mahavira, who was contemporary of Gautam Buddha. But he was the 24th. There were like more 23, which is written in various Jain texts, and we find a lot of references of that. So he, like the Adinath or the Rishabnath, he was the first to propagate the Nigrantha was and everything. And when we talk about the legend and the history, or the mythology and the history of Adinath, so like the Kalpa Sutra, I just want to like add a point. Like the Kalpa Sutra, I'm from Jaunpur, and in 14th century, there was a very important text of Kalpa Sutra has been written in Jaunpur, which was actually a painted this thing folio of Kalpa Sutra, and that is right now in the British Library. So if anyone wants to see that, please go and visit, go and see that copy of Kalpa Sutra. That is one of the most important copy. So now we come on the concept. So the Kalpa Sutra and uh, the other texts mention the list of 24 Tirthankaras, among which they are Rishabnath as the first one, which we already like now we know about the Rishabnatha, and he being the very first Tirthankara. So the aforementioned text talks about the lineage of Rishabnatha. It says that he was the Kashyapa lineage of Vardhamana Mahavir and belongs to Kosala. Now, the text which refers to the fact that the father of Kelkavara Nabi was from Ayodhya city, and his mother was Maru Devi. The first century CE text, Avashyam Yukti, also talks about two wives, namely, uh, anyone is talking? Okay. Sumangala and Sunanda, and is supposed to be hundreds of sons. So this is actually the what you can say the philosophical and the historical part of the Tirthankara, which you can already see in the slideshow. And there have been a number of like sculptural reference and a number of what you can say literary references which we found about the Rishabnatha, and how he became, how he took various what you can say births till reach to as a position to be the Tirthankara. So it's all about what you can say. All it's all about how the Rishabnath has reached at a place where he became one of the very first and one of the very important Tirthankara, who does not only change the course of the what you can say history, but also the course of a huge number of people's life. Now, iconographically, when we see Tirthankara, this thing, Adinatha, there are various lanchana of him, like the hairs which we find, like the jata hairs, which we usually find till his shoulders, and the Vrishab or a bull as his Vahana, or as his Lanchana. So these are the iconographical feature of Tirthankara. Somewhere he shows as the in Padmasana pose. Some in some places he's in Kayotsarga or the standing pose, and he also been shown as the Ajan Bahu. Like mostly Tirthankara are there who shows as Ajan Bahu, and there's a more number of iconographical features which we find in the Rishabhnath. So in the later tradition, Rishabhnath is assigned to be the Yaksha as Gomukha, who has a cow face, and Yakshini as Chakreshwari, that resembles Vaishnavi of the Brahminical pantheon. So there are a number of deities which have been taken in what you can say Hinduism or taken in Jainism. That is the vice versa, which we can actually discuss in the later period. So when we talk about the historicity of what you can say Jainism, and Rishabhnath is being the very first Tirthankara, so it becomes very prominent from where we start finding the what you can say the sculptures or the Jain art from very beginning. So in 1928-29, which I was saying about M.S. Watts, who has excavated the Harappan site, and he found a limbless torso figure made of red jasper. So, as we all know, jasper is a semi-precious stone, and a sculpture of that was found from there. Now, it is there is a debate about the artistic, assemblage of that sculpture, which is in front of you all in the photograph. Uh, Similarly, we don't find any other sculpture related to the same, which was according to Marshall. This is not very much fit in the scenario, but since it was found in the excavation and it's been around 100 plus years, so now we cannot talk more about on which layer this sculpture was found, what was the what you can say it was in situ or something, or it was bring from somewhere else. But there has been a number of debate on the same sculpture, and a number of people have written long notes regarding the same. But according to the National Museum, this they have dated this sculpture as 2500 years BCE, which was the mature Harappan period, and we are taking the reference from the National Museum. What you can say, this thing reference, and another part which I want to actually put here, the this thing. John Marshall has stated that this is like the Greek art or the Hellenistic art, but there are a number of things which need to be what you can say pointed out at this very place. Now, we all know that this very torso has a movable limbs and like the hands and heads, but there are a number of Harappan figurines, like especially the terracotta figurines, जिसके ऊपर we find an what you can say the movable limbs and heads. So in that way, we can actually state that this attaching of body parts in the sculpture are there. This was already there in the what you can say in the procession. This art makes this very what you can say sculpture makes the things very curious, as it is showing certain remains which is there already present in Harappan society, and shows some the body type and other things, which shows that it was a later what you can say art. But when we study both the types, then there's a conclusive theory that it can be of Harappan period, because the what you can say the terracotta art is showing the same. But as I have earlier told that till the time the script is not been deciphered, we cannot say something 100%. And in archaeology, there is nothing like 100%. It is the probability if the writing material is not there. So on the first hand, we can take कि हाँ ये जो प्रतिमा है ये जैन प्रतिमा हो सकती है, और इसके साथ में जो चीजें जैसे कि जो हेड का उसके अंदर है अटैच करने के लिए, हाथ को अटैच करने के लिए, वैसे टेराकोटा आर्ट के अंदर भी हमें बहुत सारी चीजें मिली हैं। तो उस हिसाब से हम ये कह सकते हैं कि इसका हड़प्पन फिगर होने की एक बहुत बड़ी बहुत चांस है। अब इसके ऊपर हम डिबेट कर सकते हैं कि ये स्कल्पचर जैन स्कल्पचर है या फिर एक नॉर्मल स्कल्पचर है या फिर कोई एक ह्यूमन स्कल्पचर है। इसके ऊपर हम कॉन्क्लूसिव थ्योरी तब प्रोड्यूस कर पाएंगे जब हमको वहां की स्क्रिप्ट का प्रॉपर रेफरेंसेस हमको मिल जाए। इसी क्रम में दूसरा एक स्कल्पचर एक सील है ऑफ पाशुपति सील, वेयर देयर इज टू डिफरेंट थियरीज रिगार्डिंग द सेम। One theory is about what you can say, which says that that is the image of Shiva, and the second theory is there which talks ki this is the image of Rishabhnath. Now, the question again is the same कि जब तक स्क्रिप्ट्स का इंफॉर्मेशन प्रॉपरली नहीं मिल जाता तब तक उस इन दोनों थियरीज के ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा बात नहीं की जा सकती। अभी जो बात की जा सकती है वो रेफरेंसेस के आधार पर, जैसे मैंने प्रीवियस इमेज के इस इमेज के रेफरेंस के बारे में बताया कि इसके ऊपर जो सर को अटैच करने का, हाथ को अटैच करने का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है, जो जो थियरी है, वो ऑलरेडी हड़प्पन आर्ट के अंदर हमको देखने को मिलती है। तो उस तरीके से हम इस स्कल्पचर को हड़प्पन पीरियड का, मेच्योर हड़प्पन पीरियड का कोट कर सकते हैं। और नेशनल म्यूजियम ने जो अपने गैलरी के डिस्क्रिप्शन में जो लिख रखा है उसके हिसाब से इसको हम मेच्योर हड़प्पन पीरियड का मान सकते हैं। लेकिन सील के साथ में क्या है, वी वी हैव नॉट फाउंड एनी अदर रेफरेंस ऑफ फॉर द सेम। तो हम लोग उसको अभी एक 50-50% के कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर लेके चल सकते हैं। Now, there's another image, another sculpture, which was found from Lohanipur, Patna in 1937, जो कि पॉलिश्ड सैंडस्टोन की है। और पॉलिश सैंडस्टोन है तो दैट बिकम 3rd सेंचुरी बीसी, विच वाज मौर्यन टाइम फ्रेम। और वो काफी हद तक जैस्पर का जो अपना इमेज है उसके साथ मेल खाती है। नाउ अगर इस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखा जाए तो ये कहा जा सकता है कि जो इस तरीके के स्कल्पचर्स हैं, जो दिगंबर स्कल्पचर्स हैं इस तरीके के, उसकी उसको बनाने की परंपरा बहुत लंबे समय तक चली थी। और then we come in the early historic period। तो early historic period में like from Indus Valley, फिर 3rd century BC, और इंडस वैली और उसके बीच में बहुत कम ऐसे रेफरेंसेस अपने को मिलते हैं जो आइदर किसी भी सेक्ट को, आइदर इट्स जैनिज्म और इट्स बुद्धिज्म और इट्स हिंदुज्म, वट एवर इट इज, उसके बारे में बहुत ज्यादा रेफरेंस प्रोड्यूस नहीं करते, बिकॉज दैट वाज आफ्टर फॉल ऑफ हड़प्पा। there was a long gap, especially in artistic gap। हमको उसके बीच में लाइक अच्छे पीजीडब्ल्यू पॉटरीज मिल रही हैं, काफी अच्छी ओसीपी कल्चर मिल रहा है, कॉपर वुड्स मिल रहे हैं। बट अगर इन 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 टर्म ऑफ अगर स्कल्पचरल आर्ट की बात की जाए या फिर ऐसे रेफरेंसेस की बात की जाए जो कि मटेरियल कल्चर में हो, तो ऐसा बहुत कम लैक करता है। हालांकि जो वैदिक टेक्स्ट्स हैं, वैदिक टेक्स्ट के अंदर तीर्थंकर्स के बारे में काफी अच्छी इंफॉर्मेशन अपने को मिल जाती है। नाउ इट वाज द 2nd सेंचुरी बीसी, जब भी कुशानाज ने कुशान आर्ट जो है वो अपने कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर अपने एक लाइक विच केम विथ अ स्पेशल टाइप ऑफ स्कल्पचरल आर्ट आफ्टर मौर्यस। तो मौर्यंस को हम लोग ये कह सकते हैं कि दे वर द वेरी फर्स्ट डायनेस्टी जिन्होंने स्कल्पचरल आर्ट को, आइकोनोग्राफिकल आर्ट को एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेज पे लेके गए। उसके बाद जो है कुशाना, शुंगास और बाकी लोगों ने उसको उस पर्टिकुलर बेस को और भी ऊपर तक पहुंचाया विद डिफरेंट आर्ट फॉर्म्स, चाहे वो हेलेनिस्टिक आर्ट फॉर्म हो या फिर टिपिकल गुप्ता आर्ट फॉर्म, विच इज मच मोर रियलिस्टिक टू द इंडियन बॉडी टाइप्स। तो उसको उस तरीके से आगे लेके जाया गया. Now, this Kushanas, they have very proper setup in Mathura, and Mathura is again being known as the birthplace of the Tirthankar Neminath, and that has been a very important actually Jain site, Mathura, rather than along with Buddhism and Hinduism. The Kankali Tila and other places has shows like a brilliant amount of archaeological references, and this is like archaeologically some of the earliest Jain images in India were found from Mathura and Chausa, so that again being one of the very important place from where the historicity, the archaeological references. Since I'm not very much going into the concepts and the what you can say the theories, here I want to present the what you can say the archaeological reference, because on the basis of archaeological reference, much more things can be established and much more things can be proved. So these are the bronze image. This is the bronze image of Rishabhnath from Chausa. So Chausa, which is in Bihar, and from there one of the most important sculptures of Tirthankaras have been found, in which 10 were in Kayot and 6 of them were in Padmasana posture. And these can be dated back to first, second century CE, which is very much similar to, or the dating of these sculptures are very much similar to the sculptures which are found from the Mathura. Now, these images like have been of the Digambar sect, and there's a number of other references. Like we were talking about a very basic fact of what you can say, Tirtha Adinath image is like you find a number of the jata on his what you can say the hairs on his shoulder. So in this image also, this is bronze image, and you can actually clearly see the hairs on his shoulder. Now, this is again a very important image of Rishabhnath. This is again a bronze image, which is which was found from Alura. So this is again showing how the early images of Adinath have been developed, and how it is reached at a certain point where we started seeing the most elaborative images in later Gupta period and in 11th, 12th century. Now, this is 29 bronze images were found from Alora. So, this is Manbhum district, and there's a number of images in which the Rishabhnath images were one of the very important, and he is also shown like the Ajanubhuj, which is Ajanubahu, which is one of the what you can say key feature of Tirthankara images if they are in Kayat Sarga. Now, this the Gupta period was something which is very artistic in term of what you can say sculptural art, and it was the time frame when Swetambar tradition was gaining its ground. Now, it was also the time frame when you can say a number of Swetambar images started being developed. Now, a number of places like Rajgir, Vidisha, Varanasi, Durjanpur, Aihol, Badami, Yakota, all these places, we find a large number of sculptures of what you can say of the Digambar sect and Swetambar sect, and in Akota, a 5th century CE, Rishabhnath image was found, which was actually a Swetambar sculpture. When you see the sculpture, now the post Gupta phase was something when the art has evolved across the country. It was something this can be this after Gupta period. this whole phase, this whole time frame can be considered as a place, as a thing where all the what you can say across the country, the concept of idol worshipping or idol making or the school of art started being developed. Earlier it was like शुरुआत में अपने को like the Mauryan art or the Sarnath school of art, the Mathura school of art, these school of arts were there. But post Gupta phase can be considered when where thousands of school of art have been developed. Yeah, this is another matter. I just want to add one more point over here, which is very important in terms of like all the studies, especially the archaeological or the ethnographical studies. उसके अंदर हम जब देखते हैं तो कई बार हम कहते हैं कि ये शहडोल स्कूल ऑफ आर्ट है या फिर ये देवगढ़ स्कूल ऑफ आर्ट है. व्हाई दिस स्कूल ऑफ आर्ट्स हैव बीन मेड, ये एक काफी इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है स्टडी के लिए कि हम जितने भी स्कूल ऑफ आर्ट्स हमको दिखाई दे रहे हैं वो सारे के सारे स्कूल ऑफ आर्ट्स ऐसे जगह पर अवेलेबल हैं जहां पर वन ऑफ द बेस्ट क्वालिटी का रॉ मटेरियल है. This is not related to the subject, but since we are talking about the art and we are seeing how art have evolved और कितने समय से कहाँ तक हमको कितने वेरिएशंस देखने को मिल रहे हैं, तो उसमें ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है ये हमको समझना कि जहां पर वन ऑफ द बेस्ट रॉ मटेरियल्स हमको मिल रहे हैं वहीं पर हमको जो आर्ट फॉर्म्स हैं वो अच्छे तरीके से डेवलप हुए हैं. तो इसी सिलसिले में जब लाइक व्हेन but post Gupta period was like the in North India it was the what you can say Pratiharas, there are Kalchuris, there's like Parmaras, there's like Chauhanas. In South India there's Cholas, there's like Kadambas. There's a number of dynasties which are Rashtrakutas. A number of dynasties have evolved, and they actually started showing a number like a large number of sculptural reference. So now we'll talk about the across the country in a perception so that we can understand how the sculptures of Rishabhnath is can be seen from eastern India to the southern India to the northern India to the what you can say eastern, western, northern, southern. So this is like the when we talk about the eastern India. Here we start finding the sculptures of Rishabhnath from 9th, 8th century, but it was 11th to 13th century was the period when most important place like the Purulia, this Pakbira is in Purulia district, that actually came out as one of the major center of Jain studies. So these are the some of the art form, some of the sculptures of Rishabhnath, which we can see. Now, in these sculptures, what is very important and what I want to tell, कि when we see the head of like the headdress of the Adinath, it is actually a jata mukut, like a jata jute type ka. You can call it jata mukut like Shiva has. So now this is a specific art form जो हमको like Eastern India के अंदर देखने को मिल रहा है where the Rishabhnath has this jata and as usual उनका जो hairs है that is coming till his shoulder and in some of the sculpture the bull is there, the humped bull, and this is the original variation or what we can see since his headdress is like that, so it becomes very interesting to actually discuss all these various sculptures. Now, this is again of the Bengal only, from Purulia, where we can see the headdress. Please focus on the headdress, and it is showing the Jata Jota. Now, these are again from the same place. Here we start like different styles. Now, the very first image, you see the hairstyle, the second image, and the third image. All these three have, like this is from Odisha. All these three have different, what you can say, hairstyles and the style and the like body type and everything. Now the period has been is like different from 8th to 10th century. I have taken a sample size of 300 years, and we actually can see how everything, how the art form has changed in 300 years. Like this is how art actually evolves. This is Bhadrak and Bhubaneswar. There again we find the that very part of Rishabhnatha. And now this is northern India. This is the 10th century Adinatha from Lucknow Museum, where the hairstyle is completely different from what you can see the eastern part. The body type is different, but all these are showing how the tradition, how the art form, how the iconography is like has a quality of taking the very original variation. And that is why when we were seeing the Eastern India, we are finding a different type of sculptural art. But when we see in the what you can say Northern India, we are finding the different art forms. Now these are from Ranila, Narnaul. Narnaul is in what you can say Haryana, and these are then Alura Jain caves, where we find like we have now reached in Western India. In Western India, we are seeing there's a bit similarity from the what you can say Northern India, but there's a number of changes. Like this is Tringalwadi Fort. This is a cave which I just covered with the help of uh, Sri Gandhiji. He has given me a project in Nashik district. There I was exploring these Jain heritage of Nashik. So there in Tringalwadi, there's a Jain cave of like 12th century, 11th century. That cave is actually dedicated to Adinatha. And when you see the third picture, where you can find the inscription which is talking Shake 1266, ये शक संवत की बात कर रहा है 1266. So now these are like the variations which we find. And now when we reach in like what you can say medieval period, during medieval period, the Gujarat and Rajasthan became one of the major center of Jainism, which actually started talking about number of things, a number of what you can say evolutions in Jain art we started seeing. So now this is Central India, as I have covered Chhattisgarh previously, and with the help of JAS and Sri Rajiv Gandhi, we are hopefully till in next 2 months, you all will be able to see a beautiful piece of work and hopefully a book on the same. So these are the like Chhattisgarh is became another place where like the history, the heritage of Jainism is getting back to 6th century CE till what you can say 14th century CE. Now, since in my previous talk I have talked why Chhattisgarh has is not much more prosperous in terms of Jainism, and even it is not much more prosperous in terms of like Buddhism and other sects also, because it was majorly a tribal state, and there have been a lot of limitations, and there were not much what you can say trade routes. So hence, because of that, we did not find much more conclusive evidences. But the heritage which we have found in that survey and in that what you can say exploration, that actually proves and that actually breaks a lot of previous what you can say concepts regarding Jainism. So I hope yeah, you can wait for 2 more months to actually read that. Now, as I have already showed the Tringalwadi caves of Nashik, this is the what you can say 180-degree photo of the front cave, and that is the image. The previous image was not much more clear, so I have added one more. Now, Madhya Pradesh is the place where right now I'm sitting. So Madhya Pradesh is considered. I'm so sorry. So Madhya Pradesh is considered as one of the most important place in terms of evolution of art and craft. Now we started finding the images of Tirthankaras from very what you can say third fourth century CE till what you can say very recent time till 15th 16th century, and there have been a number of dynasties who have actually contributed in the same, and and variety of what you can say this thing Adinatha images we have documented and we have found in the in Madhya Pradesh, like one of the most gigantic images, also one of the most one of the largest images like rocket images are also found from the Madhya Pradesh, either it's Devgarh or it's like Gwalior or and other places, and in them we find a variety of Adinath images also, which like in your picture where you can see the very first image of Khajuraho Adinath temple, where we find an image, a simple image of made of granite. Then there's another image, then the image which is found from Sihora, Madhya Pradesh, which is actually a post-Gupta period image, and then the image of Kalchuri period, which is much more what you can say elaborated, and like Kalchuris are the one who have made one of the best images, like in all the sets. So now in South India, we have like Kalumangalai, like Jain beds in rocket architecture, and then there's a number of like what you can say sites in southern part of India, like in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala, and in Andhra. So the whole South India is full of what you can say Jainism, and I think Ocean and Deccan College is doing a number of like lecture series on the Jainism in southern India, South India, and like the South India is very has very elaborated what you can say tradition. So these are the images of Adinatha from different place. Now we'll reach at the conclusion. Historically, like he is the historical personality who has been graced by not just the Jain faith. Yeah, obviously this is like there. The Adinath is uh, he have been raised by the like Buddhists and Hindus both. Like we know a number of references of him in Vedas. And Rishabhnatha, he represents the epitome of sacrifice, spirituality, peace, and wisdom, thus reversed from millennia. And Adinath has an established ethnographical meter that was aptly like he is something when we read about when we see the sculptural and ethnographical art of Adinath, he has been very simple yet very complex. He and his like art form has changed from in one era to another era, and which we have seen from 8th to 10th century images of Odisha, how the representation of Adinath has changed in various what you can say centuries. And then this is the conclusion, which I hope you can read. So this is the paper, and this was the presentation. Now I'll end my talk by saying that the Adinath is not just only historical figure, but he has been a person who has changed the course of the, what you can say, Indian society and civilization. So thank you. Namaskar. Any question, please?